All right, welcome back to the Battle of Sexes, where we all get in battle over different topics. So, with all that said, let's go.
A lot of women say they want a good man until they actually meet one and realize they're not equipped for him.
Yeah.
A good man isn't convenient.
Yeah.
He doesn't bend for chaos or shift his values because of emotions.
Yeah.
He has boundaries, discipline, and priorities that don't change with your mood.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen emotional maturity, you'll misread it.
Yeah.
You'll call him cold for avoiding drama,
Right.
selfish for protecting his peace. But that's not coldness, that's self respect. Good men don't chase chaos or emotional games. They build, they lead, they create stability.
Yeah.
And for people raised on dysfunction, peace feels boring until it's gone.
Yeah.
Good men don't bend, they build.
Yeah.
And the right woman rises to meet him.
What y'all got?
I'm gonna start since I picked the
All
joint.
right, go ahead.
So when I was watching the video, I thought about something that Nate had said before, in a previous show where we were talking about black women disrespecting their men,
Right.
and she was saying, no, if a woman is yelling on you and screaming on you like she wants to fight you, you should just leave her. But I don't agree with that though.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that emotional intelligence is what resolves a situation, and I think that goes to the men. You know what I mean? So we got to control our emotions a lot of times. And when we don't engage into that battle, it tends to kind of work out a little bit better in relationships. So I'm just talking about just a simple reaction to an argument. A lot of times it goes to the men. And then we just got to regulate things because in that situation, like we talked about, if a fight were to break out, then the woman would probably be at a disadvantage.
Right.
So for us, you know what I mean, regulating our emotions and having that emotional intelligence, it kind of helps resolve a lot of arguments. And normally women wouldn't engage in that way if we would react a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just important. And a lot of that was for the men in that video.
Okay. What you got, fellas?
Um, I thought what she was saying was you can't generalize and say everyone, but she was making some good points on different perspectives that people have. But in general, what I got from it is like what Son is saying, we kind of are the determiner if how volatile things can be. We should always try to be the ones who de-escalate, and especially if it rises to something where people are being disrespectful and getting in people's faces, we gotta walk away. There's no question about that. I think sometimes we don't necessarily get the credit that the restraint it requires to do that for a lifetime. And there are going to be men out there who fail at that. Thank God I haven't been one, but there are going to be men who fail at that. Does that mean that they're a piece of shit forever? And that's an individual, they got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Because we've all probably lived long enough to know people either in our families or people we've known or different things where you like, yo, why did she stay with him? This motherfucker I know put his hands on her for whatever the reason may be. Why would she stay with him? We wouldn't want any of our daughters to stay with someone who put their hands on them. So walking away is critical. Being the one who tries to de-escalate is critical. And it's even more important when you're raising girls because then
Right.
then you are at the ultimate test of I need to have all my soft skills together because I can't just walk away. You could break up with someone or have a divorce or not be in a relationship once you get to be adults, but your blood, who's a piece of you, and you brought them here, that doesn't become an option unless you're fucked up. You don't ever want that to happen. So you gotta figure it out.
True.
And so you're gonna be tested if you have a girl and you're a father because
Definitely.
son, you have a line
Mm-hmm.
where you even teach them that, hey, I'm not going to talk to you after this point. I'm going to put my hands on you.
Right.
Whereas with a girl, you can never reach that point.
Right.
Well, they don't understand it because they don't understand the gravity of how much power we really fucking hold. They might get mad, but at the end of the day, tomorrow, if the men all just said, hey, we're taking shit over, they couldn't stop it on a physical level. Period.
Right.
Okay, what you say.
What you got, Bino?
All right, what I got from it is I've been fortunate in life to be a calm person in tense situations. So that's kind of what she was saying about emotional maturity. I've kind of always had that. You know what I'm saying? When dealing with and your selection is important. If you're selecting volatile women,
Mm-hmm.
then you're more likely to have to escalate things at different times. I've been fortunate where I don't really have one in my life that was super volatile, and that shit don't work for me. You know what I'm saying? I need somebody, even if she, you know, likes to yell at you. I mean, I'm a big boy. There's nothing you're gonna be able to say to me that I haven't heard before. So what I got from it was kind of how I am. It's like I can have a disagreement without screaming on you. I can have a disagreement without calling names. And I think that comes from I was raised by a man that was like that. Now, growing up, uh when my nan used to get on him, I'd be in the room like, why do you take this shit? You pay all the bills.
Mm.
but but he took it and they was married until he died. You know what I'm saying? And there was many a day where I would listen to him get it and I'd be like, man, no way I would take that. But he had the emotion. Now, every once in a while, that's when you knew he was really in it because he would explode every blue moon. But the way he handled things as I've gotten older, I'm like, wow, that's fucking amazing. And that is how you should be because we had this show before. Women are more emotional.
Mhm.
And when they get when they get going, they can really get going and they can really push you because they, especially in your relationship, they know what pisses you off. They know where your soft spots are, and they don't mind poking the soft spots sometimes. So you do have to have the maturity and the wisdom to know that okay, she's trying me, but I know she's trying me. And if I know what the play is, then I have the antidote for that.
Okay. All right. What you got, ladies? Before I ask my next question.
Mhm.
Um, comment. I mean, I would say part of what she was saying, I think, is very true. Like, there's a lot of women out here that they say they want a certain caliber of man, and then when they get it, they don't know how to read it all the time.
Right.
Um, because women want to
Yeah.
see reaction,
Yeah.
not necessarily like
There
that,
we go. Come
but
on with it.
just something.
Mm-hmm.
And when a man is more emotionally level, I would say, or just grounded or reflective, even. Sometimes men hear stuff and they can sit back, kind of like how Bino was saying, like, you don't always have to give something right away. Sometimes you're listening and you're just sitting. Like, you're not necessarily like, no, that's not true, or yes, it is, or, and you're really just taking it in. And
Right.
sometimes that could be read as dismissiveness or indifference. And it's not always that. You have to
Right.
know your audience. Like, you have to know who you're sitting with.
That's
Mm-hmm.
true.
And that can be misinterpreted very easily as like someone who doesn't care, or you didn't say anything, or, and I also think it's like I said, it has to do with both people, like knowing the person, like somebody telling you, like, hey, I'm not going to give you this. Like, I need to be reflective, or I need to hear you out and sit with it a little bit, or, but it's all communication. And
Mm-hmm.
I think in today's society, we're so used to seeing and giving reactions
Mm-hmm.
that when somebody is a little less reactive,
Right.
people easily misinterpret that.
That is the truth.
That is true. They think you don't care. They think you're emotionally distant when you learn how to regulate your emotions and not let them bother you.
And I've had to tell people at times, like, I have to hear everything before I can give you a response. I just don't have immediate answers off the gate. Sometimes I have to take it in and then I can respond. But a lot of like you were saying, man, a lot of times women want reaction. They want you to immediately, oh no, that's not true. That's not how it is. And it's like, no, I'm gonna hear the whole thing.
Right.
How come you
Um,
haven't said anything? Because you haven't finished.
I I feel like just hearing all y'all talk, I feel like that's one thing that I'm learning about myself, just growing as a woman. Um, because and not trying to like give excuses or anything like that, but just certain things that I've been through, maybe intentionally or unintentionally put that I've been through. I know sometimes I could be a little hot headed. Like I know I gotta, but it's also a thing too where I am self aware. So I feel like some women they try to act like they're not that way. Whereas like myself, I know that I can have a smart mouth. I know that I'll, sometimes I'm impatient. I want stuff done right then and there when I need it done, whatever the case may be. And even with certain reactions, like I will say I am one of those women that like reassurance. Like I want to, if I ask you, yo, you miss me or whatever, da da da. Granted, I know that, but to me, sometimes I feel like reassurance is nice. Not all women care for it, and some men they like reassurance too. So they want to hear that they look good or they whatever they've been doing in a positive note has been working out, whatever the case may be. But I know I've also learned to kind of just let things be because I know in the past and things that I've been through, I'm one of those that, like Bino said, um, or really all y'all said, just as far as like wanting a reaction, like immediately. And sometimes I don't know. I also feel like it's a thing where some people can process things a little bit differently to others. Some people might process stuff faster. Some people might, already kind of have an idea of it. But all in all, I definitely feel like I do feel like it's important to kind of just calm down and kind of assess the whole situation first before reacting because 9 times out of 10, especially if you're an overthinker or whatever the case may be, it's probably not as bad as you're making it seem.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. What you got, Nick?
Well, not talking or responding when someone's talking to you is not, to me, is not emotional maturity. You want feedback, even if it means, hey, give me a second to get my thoughts together before I respond, or something like that. That just not talking, that's not emotional maturity. And
I
nobody
don't
wants,
think anybody said that.
Agree. I agree.
yeah, it was said.
Who said it? Who said I just don't respond? Who said that?
I think she's saying it more so of a sense of like if I'm saying something to you, we're having a conversation. Don't try to like just throw it off or push it off until
And
another
that it
time.
was not like you don't have to respond right there, and that's a sign of emotional regularity. So, or something to that effect. That's to me, that's not
So what,
emotional
I
reg.
mean, I have a question then. So what do you think if a person doesn't respond right then or just doesn't have anything to say? And I'm not saying silence is the answer at all. That's not what I'm saying. But what do you think would be just as in your
I don't
opinion?
really have nothing to say. To me, it's like that is because okay, you don't have anything to say in that moment. You need to think about it. Are
So
we?
you're just saying
But
the person should just tell you they don't have anything to
yes,
say.
because sometimes something that's important to me, that person is never going to come back and talk about it. Like, are you taking a moment because you need to get your thoughts together and then we're going to address it later? I can deal with that. But if I'm talking about something that's bothersome to me that needs to be addressed and I get met with silence, that's not, that's not,
Well, I don't think anyone said complete silence.
I don't
Nobody
think
said it's
anybody
okay to
said that.
not say anything.
it was said that it was silence and that not to meet her because she's emotional. Now I do believe for the way that the woman comes to you is important because I have 3 boys and a woman's not gonna do all that rah rah to my sons and get all in their face and all of that and they're gonna stay. I mean, I can mind my business for like majority of that stuff because marriage and a relationship is between them. But if I witness her constantly doing like that, she has a problem, and that's not healthy. That's not a way, that's not a good communication either. So let me just address what the girl said, that no, a woman should not be coming, spazzing out, jumping in your face. A man, everybody has a response and everybody has like a reflex. So sometimes you get in a man's face, their reflex can knock you the devil out, and you don't, that's not, and you're not built like a man and you're not equipped to react like a man. So I don't think any woman should get in any man's face, at all. But when it comes to something that is addressed, yes, even if a woman is more emotional, I think a response is necessary. And then a response can, to me, it depends on the response. A response to me is not, we're never gonna, you might want to be silent after I said what I said, but are we gonna get back to it? Because that's important to me. So
I
I
agree
don't
with
I
that.
don't know. Yeah.
I agree with that part. Now, you do
Okay.
have to revisit the conversation. Can't just say, you know what, I'm just not going to talk about it at all.
I mean, that's part
So
of the
I agree.
pausing process. Like it should be. It should just be
I
like, hey,
heard.
we're not talking about this right.
No, in her
I'm
clip, she
thinking
didn't
about
say
it.
that. In her clip, she didn't say that, and then it wasn't. Nobody said that the silence was there, and then I'm gonna think about it and then come back to it. Because sometimes some men, I'm not saying all men, some men have a way of being dismissive because
Mm-hmm.
women are emotional,
Mm-hmm.
and if that's concerning to them, they might get quiet in order to control what they address in certain stuff. And I don't think everything need to be addressed, but even if it's something important to her, the silence to me does not show. And I've met, unfortunately, some emotionally stunted men, and that is not good. You don't have to match
Mm-hmm.
my flare up, but you can't be silent, because sometimes I got to give my sons time to think about it. Like, let me let you think about it and then come back. But sometimes they don't ever come back with an answer, but it's an issue,
Well, I didn't
you
say
know?
nothing about that because she was talking about emotionally mature men. So I automatically,
Yeah.
if she was specific to saying emotionally mature men and men who are emotionally sound and intelligent. So in that case, I feel like I wouldn't even have to discuss revisiting it because that is what emotional maturity is.
No, but she said it, and
Let
what
me
she used as an example afterwards was him not engaging in some of the dialogue that she might want to discuss. And if I'm not mistaken, everyone that said it said that too. Like, yeah, y'all looked at it as if that's emotionally mature because if she's bringing up the issue, I might
no,
not have
that's
a
not true.
response at that. I'm just saying, if you don't
I
have a response
my
at that
statement was
time,
based on having a measured response. Doesn't have to be. That's what I was saying.
Boogie
So
got
I
his
don't know
hand up.
what
He's been
Yeah, yeah,
waiting
it's on Boogie. It's
silently.
on Boogie after Calbino. After Calbino.
Yeah, it's like you have to have a measured response. I That clip was so long, I don't even know what part you're talking about where it's just silence. I didn't at any point say I believe in silence. I believe in taking it in and having a measured response so that you can give an intelligent answer. And it's
patient.
different
Okay.
with a relationship between you and your woman
I'm
and your children. When my mom come at me, I blow her ass off because I don't have to hear that shit, and I don't gotta call you back. She called me. Well, you didn't never say nothing. I didn't want to say nothing. So it's different when it's your woman. You're stuck with her, so you do have to revisit some things. But my mother telling me something, whatever, man. I'll get to that when I get to it.
all right,
Oh,
Boogie. What you
sure.
got? What you
Listen,
got, Boogie?
All right, Matt. I understand what you're saying, son. I understand what you're saying. Nay, when you say things like you don't have to match my flare up, I'm quoting you now, not the video. Define what you mean by that, because what I was saying was we have to be the supreme regulators of de-escalation in all fucking things. We carry the weight of that. We're going to be the bad guy, whether it's now the way it's presented of what a woman is going to talk about. Y'all don't take that into account. Your flare up to me when I hear that is you came to them and you presented it in a fucked up way, which may have been emotional, not you per se, but women in general do that. And then they want this reaction when we're now still dealing with the way it was presented. If it was in a fashion that is causing contention or unnecessary drama or making it or like you men, when we have to communicate with each other, we know out the gate we gotta have our shit together, tone in check. Motherfucking shit could turn violent. Y'all don't present into no, let me get this off. Y'all don't always take that into account that every woman may not be like you and present majority of their
forget the question.
From a logical standpoint, they're doing it from an emotional standpoint. And then we got to deal with the emotion before we can even address the fucking issue, which is why we got to be silent and be measured, as my brother Calbino said, with our response. It's not, no one is indicating that there should just be silence and mute up. That's dumb. That's irrational. However, there are times where they want it to be immediate. And maybe that's not you. But a lot of men do deal with women who like, yo, they don't want you to just like, you could be shutting down because you want to see, are you even fucking done? Is you finished or is you done? Or are you popping? And y'all don't own that. You act like you say I'm team men. Yeah, you are team woman, never do shit wrong when it comes to communication. When it comes to communication.
Yes.
I
And
gotta,
the immediate response. You
Am I supposed to answer that?
and
Because it was a question. So let me answer that real quick, Sean. So
okay.
Sean said that I said that he said it was something brought back to answer your question. The flare up is what Son said. My apologies, Son. Son said that when Shanae has said something before that if a woman is wilding out that you should just stay. I said you shouldn't deal with them.
No,
So,
yeah.
okay.
Right.
So that's why I commented in reference to that. No, you should not. That is immature for a woman to come yelling and screaming at any person, male or female,
Not even
for
yelling and screaming. It could just be speaking to me in a way that you
offer what you said. That's what you said. You said that she's throwing a fit and she's all emotional and whatever. And I'm like, no, it's a way to talk to people. I do not believe, and no, I don't believe that it's a way to talk to people. It's a way to talk to people. So a flare up to me is I've seen women that literally get in men's face and start popping off like, what you got? I just feel like that's just a lot. And
okay,
no
but
man should
can
deal
we
with
agree
that.
that it doesn't require that extreme to be considered disrespect? Can we agree
Said,
that it
We
doesn't
agree.
violence and it doesn't have to be you yelling and
said that a woman
can we
is yelling
agree
and
that you can do
screaming.
that
I mean,
without
I will clearly
raising
say I don't have to agree with nobody. I'm gonna say plain and simple. You don't have to yell, scream. You don't have to have
You
no
just
kind of
gave
volume to
that
be
example.
disrespectful.
Right, but you just gave that example. That's why I said before you keep going, I wanted to answer
I
you
can't
what a
hear
flare
anything.
up was. Oh, okay. Can you hear? Can anybody else hear me?
yeah, I
I can
got
hear
you.
I
you.
can hear you.
Okay. But when you ask the question, that's why I said before you do it, I want to address, you said, what is a flare
I
up?
can't hear
And you
nothing.
said, and sometimes you might want to leave Calvino and come back. Oh, I don't know if you can hear. But you said it before, what is a flare up? And you asked me that. And you said sometimes women are like emotional and doing all of that. And then they want a reaction right then. And I'm addressing it and said, that's what I'm talking about. And I do agree. I mean, I still stand by what I said. No man or female should not be coming at nobody talking to them. I agree with just what Amanda said. That's a flare up. They're wailing, they're yelling, they're screaming, they're jumping in somebody's face because they feel that somebody did them wrong. And I don't believe any person should deal with that. And I'm never gonna deal with that. So that's what I mean. So
But
that's a flare up to me.
my point to that though, my point to that example was the part where you say you should leave that woman. I don't think that's a reason, a flare up, you getting in my face. I don't think that's a reason to leave you. I think that's a reason to regulate my emotions
Oh.
because that'll better control the situation. Because while you're in that state, to think about it, you want an immediate response, but immediate response can be just as dismissive as me being silent. When we went back to saying, well, that's not true. That's not true. If I just leave it there,
Her behavior. What
yeah,
is
that's
that?
also dismissive too. So sometimes in a situation like that, where it just comes to us so fast, sometimes we do got to think it through before we respond. Because an immediate response could be just as dismissive.
No, I'm saying,
Or
what if
immediate
that is
response
her
is you gotta choke your ass.
communication? Yeah, but what if that is her means of communication?
But
Every time
that's
that
what
she
we were
feels
talking about.
offended,
That's what Boogie was
you
talking
gotta
about.
no. You
We
said
have
you.
to
That doesn't
regulate
mean you.
that.
No, I'm confused because you said that you don't need to leave that person. This is
No,
the
No, you
way.
do.
no.
So this woman, every time she's offended,
Yeah,
she
you
gets to
gotta.
yell. She gets
Yeah,
to
you gotta
get in
leave her.
your face, and
No,
she gets to be disrespectful to you, and you think you should stay?
no, we're not saying that. We're saying
No, son did. No, I'm asking son.
Son
He
did say
just
that
said
though.
that. He just
He,
said that.
he said something like
I'm
that. Go ahead,
asking
son.
son
I'm
that.
saying
I
that's
need
not. I'm
Yes,
saying that's
yes.
not a reason to leave your woman.
right.
her
That's all I'm saying because of
communication.
a bad argument.
No,
All
not
right.
a bad argument. I'm saying, is that just a bad argument,
Man,
or
what
is
is
that
going
just
on?
is
She's
that just a bad argument, or is that her regular communication? Are you saying that you shouldn't leave if it's just a bad argument, or if that is her way of communicating to you whenever she's offended and emotional?
That's her way of communicating when she's offended or emotional.
Then
Okay.
you gotta
But my
cut them loose.
point is we have to be men and regulate that. Okay.
Let
My
me,
So
no,
So
and that's what I was saying earlier. If I give it back to you the
no.
same way you gave it to me, then it's going to continue.
so
But
I
y'all have a tendency to
I
emotional
got
regulation has a tendency to resolve that to
this
the point where you don't engage that way.
you
this,
trying to say you trying real quick, Boogie,
I,
and it's on you. I think, son, what you're trying to say is if once you show her that and not giving her that same energy back, eventually she'll change and reach where you're at.
And if you don't, then
no,
maybe I
time.
can leave you because
But
if I
but
give
if
you
she doesn't adjust, then you leave.
yeah, exactly. So I'm
okay.
Boom.
just saying we got to
all
put our
right.
best foot forward first.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I get that. I get that.
Okay.
Boogie,
Yeah,
what
that
you
make
got?
more sense. Cause I'm
Right.
Yeah.
like, if that's
I mean,
how
yeah,
she
right. Because
always approaches it, she gotta go. There's
that's what
no sticking
that's
around
what I'm
for that.
saying. When you bring that out, and yeah, that has to be the caveat you put on the end.
Yes.
It can't be cyclical. It can't
Yeah,
be something that is a regular occurrence, and this is your
Right.
lifestyle. Fuck out.
right.
No. Now
That
everyone's
makes
gonna have,
sense.
but here's the thing: everyone's gonna have that moment where they may snap or break, or especially just through time of a length of a relationship, you have more opportunity for that to occur. But
Right.
in general, when you go towards an emotional outbreak, a woman is granted way more leniency on having snapped in that fashion than a man ever is when those instances do occur. And we carry the burden of making sure we are the ones to de-escalate. We are. We're supposed to be the de-escalators 100% of the time.
I think that all depends on what it is. The argument, like
And
if you're a man and you keep messing up, like she found out you was
no,
cheating
no,
or
I'm not.
something. But
You're
just
starting with
talking
the
to
premise of
someone,
you're talking about the premise of if you was a man. I don't know where that comes from.
It's
In
a
adding too much to
female.
it. We're just talking about the
it could be
No, but
arguing
I'm
with
saying no. I'm talking about solely son giving a woman, any person, a pass to talk to you that way.
yeah, but
I'm saying
That's
a
not a
question.
pass.
Let me rephrase it. Do women on the panel agree that men carry the burden of being the de-escalators, whether we're right or whether we're fucking wrong?
Yes.
I can agree.
boom.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Now what is your answer, Nate? I asked the women. They've given theirs.
And I mean, for me, I could say that I really say that just because, again, I am a little younger than y'all, so I'm learning not to react emotionally to certain stuff. Like I am learning to just take a step back and be like, all right, is this worth me doing all that or whatever? And I'm not saying that I just will yell and lash out or nothing because I really don't like arguing. Sometimes I will just shut up and be like, all right, you win, you got it. But I will say, like, yeah, I can, I mean, and even just other situations, yeah, I feel like it has to be a balance. And sometimes we might react off of hormones or whatever. I mean, yeah.
What's Nate's
But
answer though?
Get Nate's answer.
I
We didn't get that.
guess she. What's the question again? Because now, what's the question?
sorry.
Oh no, it's okay now. I just don't remember the question, and you got to answer right with these people. What's the question, Boogie?
You believe that men carry the burden of
Joel.
always being the de-escalators, whether we're right or whether we're wrong. We have to be the ones to de-escalate it, or else we're the ones who are seen as being weak in that instance. Because to me, mental toughness and mental stamina is very important when you're in these scenarios. And a woman can snap, and they're given a pass for it. It's understood. If a man does that, he's not getting no kind of pass on that. Never. We're supposed to walk away. We teach our son. Do we not teach our sons to walk the fuck away?
Yeah, walk away. Walk away.
I do, but I don't believe the burden should just
That's the bird. Okay.
I
Then,
can't answer the
No,
question.
no,
Y'all don't. That's why I
let her
said.
answer. Let her answer, but let her answer. Answer.
I keep feeling like I'm getting set up.
No,
I don't.
it's really just a yes or no answer.
it really is. You
Tell
making
me.
it.
Go ahead to the next one. Go
They
ahead to
roll
the next.
off quick. See, all right, but no.
But okay, all right, listen. I got the next question. I got the next question. All right. So, ladies, do y'all agree that a lot of ladies say that they want an emotional, mature man, nice guy, but man, they also want peace, but they crave chaos.
No.
They don't want the guy who is like Calbino said, Sun said, they know how to regulate their emotions. When they wild out, they want the man to wild out with them.
No,
If not, they feel bored.
I don't think that's always true, but I do think
Okay.
there's certain um I do think there are certain women who it's easy to say I want an emotionally mature man, but when you get one, you don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Facts. That part. Okay.
Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it.
You got something else to add to that?
Um, I mean, like Bino said, that was a longer clip, and she said a lot within that time frame, but a lot of what she said, I think in generally speaking, not speaking to like all or nothing because you know, you can't say all anything,
Right.
but a lot of that is true, is that it's easy to say I want an emotionally mature person. And I'm
Right.
the same person because it could be anybody. I want an emotionally mature person. I want a person who does this and does that. And a lot of what she's saying is very true that those things can be misinterpreted. Someone who's um set in their moral character and their values, what they want, what they don't want. You might say it's very dismissive to deal with somebody that does something that you don't particularly align with, and you just say like, "Oh, that's just not something I align with. I think it's better we go our separate ways." Now you're dismissive and you don't care.
Right.
And that's not always necessarily true. Like I've told people in dating, like I could care a lot about you. But if you don't align with my life, I can also easily say I care a lot about you and I think you're a great guy, you're just not for me.
Right.
And they would be like, what kind
Yeah, that's some emotional maturity right there.
that's crazy. Like you're saying I'm a good guy, you're saying I'm this, you're saying I'm that, but you don't want to mess with me like that. Yeah, because I know me and you
Don't
probably
mess.
would be a great fit.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't take away from the fact that I believe you might be great for someone, just not me.
Right.
Right.
And
Right.
that's hard for people to calculate because they're
I
already
dig that.
like, oh, well, if I like you and you're saying I'm a good guy and you're saying I'm this and you're saying I'm that, but then you're saying you don't want to mess with me
Right.
like that. Yeah. So it's hard because like I said, when you say you want somebody emotionally mature, you say you want all of these things, but when that person is very certain of who they are and it is emotionally sound and it makes sense, it's hard to digest.
True. I agree with you. I agree with everything you just said. Nah, what you got? Oh, nay, whoever want to go next.
I'm sorry, the question.
The question is, a lot of women say that they want an emotional, mature man, say they want peace, but they crave chaos. When they wild
What is
out, they want their
wrong
man to
with
wild
the
out
Um,
with
audio?
them.
I do feel like there are I think it either goes both ways. I feel like there are some women who don't know how to handle that. They are used to the yelling and the screaming and the going back and forth. So when it does not happen like in that way, and it is something where you can have a mature conversation even in the disagreement, it's almost I don't want to say quote unquote like a culture shock, but it's like, well, why aren't you reacting this way because I'm used to such and such. And then when that guy that is quiet, emotionally mature, he snaps, she kind of looks like, well, what the hell? Where did this come from? And it's like, well, when I tried to be calm about it, you didn't want to be calm about it. So now that you're seeing something different, you'll have some women that'll say, oh, well, you're talking to me crazy now or whatever when you never used to do that before.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like, well, yeah, but when I was saying in the cool, calm, and collective manner, you wasn't getting that either. But I do also feel like there are some women who, you know, they don't have to do all that or argue or go back and forth. I feel like though, honestly, I feel like I've seen it more where I have guy friends, like I said, that I know are cool, that are chill, come home at a decent time, check in, all of that, and their girl will still have something to complain about. And I be feeling bad because I'm like, well, damn, like, you know, you got somebody that actually know how to talk to you and you kind of making it worse. And next thing you know, when you're ready to pack a shit and walk out the door because you don't know how to talk to them, then, that creates another situation.
A lot
But
of
that's what needs to be done sometimes.
it's learned behavior too, a lot of times, because that's how they saw some
Right.
talked to and treated
Their
and
mom or their grandma or
how they
whoever.
were raised, and so it's learned behavior in that regard. Same thing for boys. It's no different. You depending upon what kind of things you saw, sometimes that's gonna sometimes influence you to either want to be like it or stay away from it if you hated it and thought it was fucked up. I mean, you don't always admire what you saw your parents do.
Yeah.
So
Whether good or bad. True.
you be like, yo, I'm gonna be the fucking antithesis of that motherfucker.
Yeah.
But
You
yo,
take
isn't
the
regulating our
parts you thought were
emotions
good
learned
from
behavior too? Because we practice this shit every day, man.
yeah.
Around men practice regulating their emotions around other men all the time.
We have no choice. We have no choice, and that's the
Right.
unwritten rule of at any given time the shit could go left and get violent that they don't contend with at the same level. It could happen for women, but it's not at the same level. Like a
And I
man,
can I can agree with I can agree with that, Boogie. Like I feel like at least for men, y'all pay attention to certain things that us women don't, especially in a protective manner. Like if you're going out with your wife or your girl or whatever, like we might just be having a good time or whatever. Not saying we not looking out for stuff, but y'all are kind of like more on alert.
I mean,
You're you're, you're scoping
that's
you're
like
scoping the
cultural conditioning
you're
though.
you
Yeah.
better because
you're
technically you're responsible for everyone who's with you.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I feel like that's a thing where that's also something that kind of men have on their back is like, because I'll see like some guys like and their girl, you'll have videos where the girl will be in the club and they out and the girl is all up in the dude face, cussing them out and doing all this and da 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 da. And it's like,
They choose to
you
do
putting me
that and
into a
embarrass
goddamn
the fuck out of
situation.
you. You
Yeah, and
say,
then it's like
yeah,
I've seen the guys like they trying to calm their girl down and the girlfriend trying to smack them and get out my way. And if anything, it's like, girl, you about to get your I mean, not saying that your dude is weak or can't fight, but it's like you
let
need
me
to
drop
shut
this in.
up.
What you saying right there? That's perfect. So I just want to do one thing. You're talking about a scenario where you're in public, right? A woman is snapping on this guy in public. People can see it. It's embarrassing. She going in. Maybe might
Right.
even slap them. Who
Right.
knows, right?
Right.
The expectation is that man is supposed to take that and walk away. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
against that. What I want you to understand is now transpose a man doing that to another man in public. What is your now expectation of that man who that's happening to? To do what? To
I want
do
him to
what?
walk away, but he might snap
Your
out.
expectation is from the walk away. That's not what any guy up here with dick and balls has
Right.
as an expectation of themselves as a fucking man. You
No, of course. And I'm also
but
even
here's the
and
thing.
I'm also talking about the opposite because just as much as you said, what you're saying is right. But I also feel like the woman who's doing all that, it's like, girl, you putting us in jeopardy because you don't know what this other person is capable of. I'm your man. I'm trying to tell you to calm down, and you keep snapping. This dude could go to the car, get a gun, and shoot this whole bitch up.
Right, you talking about when she's doing it with someone else. I'm talking about women who are doing it to their mate. And their man is trying to protect them because you're talking about there's a third party. I'm talking about just in general, if communications go left, and there's a discrepancy of any kind,
Oh yeah.
it's a woman, a man is supposed to walk away. But if that
Mhm.
same respect was coming from the same gender,
Right.
rules immediately change dramatically.
Right.
Even
But
a,
another thing,
even a
another
woman, even a woman who's bitched up by another woman is not considered less of a woman. She's just not a fighter. She doesn't like confrontation
I
and
don't believe that though.
wants to be the bigger person. No, I'm just saying, like, they're
Women can
not
be strong
judged
too.
harshly for not being a fighter as a man is. The
All
ex
right, let me say. Can
not
I can I say something real quick?
Yeah, good.
We grow up like that. With boys, we establish hierarchy at 4 or 5 years old. When you have friends, from the time you're a little boy, when you hang out with your friends, y'all wrestle. You know who's the best football player or basketball. So that's where the emotional intelligence comes from, because we grow up establishing hierarchy amongst ourselves. So that's why as you mature and become a man, you know how far to go. You know where if I do this, then we're probably going to go there. But that starts from when you're a little boy. We start that as little kids. You push my truck over, I punch you in the face, we end up fighting. And then, we end up being friends 10 minutes later. But that
Right.
starts when we're little kids. We
Right.
start that hierarchy from the time we first have playmates.
Sandbox. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
But that's why I said that's cultural conditioning, because it's not just that. It's like exactly what Calvino said. You learn who you are amongst your group. You also learn who you are in your family. And when you're the biggest
Yep.
boy, what do you automatically get told? You know how big you are. You know how strong you are. You know how, don't do that.
Mhm.
You can't do this, can't do that. So
Yep.
indirectly, we were raised in a society that norm the culture of making sure boys carry that responsibility. You are the man of the house. It's not like a direct responsibility, but it's implied. So
Yes.
Yep.
boys grow up thinking, oh, you're the protector of something. You have to regulate some, especially if you are a bigger boy. Then it was, oh, you know what you look like, so you can't be doing that. You can't be talking like that. People are going to think of this. People are going to act like that. So there's all this sense of responsibility of you have to watch your size, your tone, what you look like, what you sound like, that you can't hit girls, you can't. And I'm not saying those are bad things. I'm saying those are responsibilities that get put on boys that don't normally, like I said, I'm not saying all or nothing or no one, but don't
Right.
normally get put on women the same way.
True.
Our
Most.
regulation gets taught later in life. Because if we break down crying, screaming, carrying on, what do most people do? Oh, come here.
Yeah.
Unless it's your mom, and then a woman is probably like, girl, get up. But if it's like a bunch of people around, of course, I even know my daughter's 13 and she's 5'8", 120 pounds. She's a big girl. And what do people do? As the moment she looked like she got tears in her eyes, everybody's like, oh, poor baby.
Damn, your daughter's 5'8" at 13.
But
It's
to go back off of what Joel, the question, for what you said, to go off to what the question was, I think it's all about, sometimes it could be about upbringing. Because my upbringing, I used to think that I told y'all before, I didn't know that I didn't like to be yelled at until I got older. And sometimes if you grow up in chaos, you think that's love. You think that yelling and screaming. That's why a lot of people find themselves staying in. I've been around women who have thought that the men hitting them is the domestic violence is
Um,
love. Yeah, that's love, and he must love me enough. Or stalking. If the person is like,
yeah,
yeah, they
crazy.
think they think that is love. I've been in situations where I had to stop being friends with girls because they thought that that was love, and they viewed it as that person loves me because he's doing that. And I used to be think that that was, like the more chaos, and then if he apologized enough, like that's love. But it's not. And I just think that sometimes it's not that women don't want that. It's just that sometimes we have to relearn who we are and what is a healthy relationship. That's my thought on it. And that's why I just don't believe that anyone, yeah, we all can give grace if a person, reacts to you and jumps in your face and have a response like that, but that person don't get to continuously do that. No one deserves that type of pass. No, no.
Agreed.
All right, well, that leads us to our next video. Let's go.
Fellas, I noticed when y'all start to get an inkling that the relationship is going south, y'all will go into the mode of woman pleasing. But the truth is, it's really her relationship with chaos. Some women don't want peace, period. They like the feeling of peace, but they really thrive on drama and chaos to feel alive. So when a real man shows up with that calming energy, all of a sudden she's bored, she's creating arguments, she questions your intentions, she tests until you break. The truth is simple. You cannot be her peace if she finds comfort in chaos. Women like this will confuse your calm for distance. She will call your silence a lack of effort. She certainly will misunderstand your emotional intelligence because she is only used to emotional turbulence. This is the very reason why good men are always drained and stressed out. These are the type of men that walk into a relationship trying to create stability for someone that thrives on instability. Your peace is not her problem. Her addiction to emotional chaos is. Trust and believe a woman that wants peace will meet you exactly where you are. And a woman that craves chaos, she will destroy every single thing you bring. Understand the difference before you let a woman in your life that you're trying to save that ain't even in your league.
Absolutely true. And as I said, when a person is drawn to chaos and that's their idea of love, they are going to bring that chaos in their life. But I know that y'all hate when I say it. Yes, this is all about men who are emotionally mature, but sometimes men do bring a lot of that to it too, and then blame the woman for reacting to that bull crap. And sometimes it is the man that's doing a lot of unnecessary stuff, and then the woman's reacting, and maybe her reaction is not good and is disrespectful, but I don't know, and you guys will have to tell me, I don't know a woman who's just, unless she has a mood disorder, who just reacts unnecessarily. Like, what did you do before that?
I do.
See, that's always that BS right there. Every time a woman sees another woman going off in a parking lot or something like that, they always say, well, what did he do to her? Why can't she be the guilty one, bruh? You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm just saying, it's not always the man's fault. That's pretty much what you just said, right?
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe.
It's not.
I did not say that.
Okay, I'm sorry. You didn't say 100%. You didn't say 100%, but you said, yeah, some men, it's their fault. But still, it's one of those things that always goes around there almost every time a man and a woman is going at each other. Not all, some. Women always say, what did he do to her? And sometimes he didn't do nothing. Okay? Every now and then there are, hold on right quick. Every now and then there are some good men out here. And there's some bad women. And sometimes the same way a woman can get the wrong man, select the wrong man, sometimes that man can select the wrong woman.
Yes, that's what I've said the whole time. I just said,
oh my God. But yeah, I've known women that are just fucked up in the head.
That response there was just unnecessary. So he said that's what I said.
I wanted to do it. That's necessary.
And it's necessary for me to cut you off and act like you didn't do it.
Well, good. I'm a firm believer in breaking up. I ain't never been shy about just breaking up with your ass.
As I stated before, nobody gets a pass to do that. I'm just saying that a lot of times it is in reference to that. And when they are, I said that sometimes men do bring that type of energy to that, and the same way the woman likes it, the man likes that type of drama too. That's the only comment that I had in reference to that. I'm all for if a woman is reactive like that, and she's throwing a fit and all of that. No, and a man is emotionally regulated. You should not stay with that tantrum throwing female.
I will call on you. It's your turn.
But that's what I'm saying. Everybody else keep going on and on.
You're going on and on.
We just heard you.
So when it's to my time to explain, when you just said
You
it,
always the
don't try to.
victim on the show. I
I'm
swear to
not a
God.
victim of a
Oh
motherfucking
my
thing.
God.
And they
It's
ain't a
always,
victim of shit.
oh, get on me. You
I ain't a
won't let me
victim of
talk.
shit. I'm not, let me just tell you, I'm not a victim of anything. I just said, I'm looking at Boogie face. You said, oh my gosh. So I'm going off of
But
your
talking
thing.
more ain't gonna change that response. I said, "Oh my gosh!" And saying more doesn't change that. That's what I'm
The
saying.
victim if I have evidence that you just did it and Boogie's making a face and Joel said it, I said it. So that's not a victim. That is actual evidence that you made a comment that you didn't do when Boogie did it. Joel said, let me finish. And when he said it, I said it. And then you're telling me that I'm acting like a victim. I'm not a victim
All
of
right,
shit.
well, all right, we're moving on. You're not a
On
victim.
this
But we
on this
ain't a
part,
victim
she's
of
right. She's
nothing.
right.
All right,
She's
well,
right.
you ain't a
Boogie,
victim.
Boogie, what
You
you
said
got?
it
What you
3
got,
I
Boogie?
times.
don't need to be right.
What
But
you got,
don't
Boogie?
Yeah,
say that
yeah,
because
you
that's
need
not
to
the
be right.
case.
You still
I
Boogie,
don't need
going.
to be
Boogie,
right. I
Boogie.
just gave you
Hey, chill out. Boogie, what you got?
I'm gonna
Let's go.
wait. I'm gonna wait, regardless of whatever expressions I make, Nate. It's never you know, even that even seems to be a deflection to the point. If Boogie made a face, I don't. We all make expressions about what people are saying. That's like hilarious to me that this is an example of we're not
So
held to the
he's
same
gonna
standard.
address it, and
And you know
y'all
what?
gonna sit
I'm
here
waiting.
and listen to
Don't worry,
him address
I'm
it.
waiting.
But if I address it, you see what I'm saying? You can take time to address it, but when I just addressed it, I'm a victim. It's so twisted. That is so twisted. Go ahead and address it though, Boogie. I'm listening. Let everybody listen to you address what I just did.
See what an immediate response can do?
Too.
Well,
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying, y'all
Sounds
are
real
so
dismissive,
but
y'all
don't
are being so
Everyone else don't. I'm gonna ask everyone else, but I'm gonna let her run.
no,
Everyone
you
don't
can let me run. I'm just saying you are all hypocrites. You are
it?
all hypocrites. Now everybody's quiet. Well, I'm addressing what y'all just said. But then when Boogie's speaking, everybody's silent. So go ahead, Boogie. Do you, Boo? Go ahead. I'm listening.
All right, I didn't want to interrupt you because really, anyone else I would interrupt today, but I'm not going to interrupt you, and I made it an intention.
Thank you, because you're the only one. Thank you.
Yo, this
Appreciate
is
it.
this is a real live example of what we talking about right
Oh
here.
no, son, no,
son, you
I'm
trying to say
sorry,
don't
man.
feed
My
it.
please, I'm
Don't
fault.
feed
trying
it.
to prove.
My
Don't
fault, man.
feed it. Don't feed it. Don't
Don't
feed it. It's on Boogie. Just let Boogie speak.
now when
You
I'm talking,
guys are coming
when I'm
off
talking to
as
my
some
nigga, when I'm
real
talking to,
true.
when
Not
I'm
y'all
talking
are coming off as some real not self-aware. I can't wait. I hope that when this plays, I hope when this plays that you guys rewatch it. Please. And then let's have a group meeting. When you guys when y'all rewatch it, please let's call each other. And if y'all don't see what y'all just did, please. This gonna be interesting.
I just
Real
want to talk.
interesting.
Nay, I just want to talk. For whatever you can say, I exhibited discipline and didn't interrupt you once during any of this. Whether you like my tactics or how I'm moving or expressions that I'm making are irrelevant to the fact that this is an example.
Joel pointed out that you
Have
made a
discipline.
face.
I'm trying to get
Joel
through it
pointed
again.
out.
Joe, I
Joel
can't get
pointed
60
out that you made
seconds.
a face. Joel pointed out that you made a face. He pointed out that you made a face. Not
Hold up.
Shanae.
Okay, hold up, right quick. Nay,
Y'all
can you
crazy.
just let him get it
Spend as
out
much
all the
time as
way out, and you could come back. Just let him get his full thing
Uh,
out. No matter what he
yeah,
says, just let him
yeah.
get it out.
Make sure y'all do the same,
Okay,
okay?
all right,
Yeah.
cool. Go ahead, Boogie. Rock
I
out.
can't speak for anyone else, but I have done that. So that's why I'm asking for it. I'm only asking for a
I
reciprocity,
don't know.
whether you like it or not, Nay, with you. I'm asking for you to not interrupt me because everyone else won't right now. So you are showing the example of what we mean by men having to exercise discipline. And had I jumped in and tried to do what I wanted to do, what I instinctually wanted to do, but Mac did jump in. He was like, I was like, yeah, do it, Mac. I'm gonna lay in the cut. And I did hold my hand up and I did maybe make a face because you were going on for an extended amount of time. And even when you said you would stop, you would jump back in. And even when I said, yo, just let me get this off, and you
Oh,
agreed,
we.
you broke
Woo.
in again. Now, this is the example of us having to hold restraint because if we do anything outside of disciplined it's seen as a weakness. You might see somebody else might look at this now because they have a different perspective and be like, "Oh, he trying to tell." No, it's not even that. It's just this is the reality of what we deal with. How you jumped in like that, and this is just a podcast that we on. You probably exhibit that style of doing that type of stuff in real time with interpersonal relationships. You can't deny it. We're showing ourselves. I'm keeping it a buck. I'm not fronting for nobody. I'm not saying no shit that I don't really
Jesus,
believe.
take the wheel.
That is you have perfectly exhibited. And fuck us having a conversation. You've been checking the comments. What you think the comments is gonna be? Yeah, watch. Let's watch the playback.
Nigga,
You've done everything
about them comments.
you did.
I don't care about them comments.
Well,
They
you
don't do it.
mentioned them more than anyone else. And
Hey, Ray, stay on. Let's stay on. I mean, Boogie, let's stay on topic.
yeah, okay.
Seriously.
But if you say
Like, come on now. You going below the belt, and I'm not entertaining it. And
Yeah, bring it
so,
back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
I'm done. I'm done.
yo, you going below the belt. This is just like not
Discipline.
cool.
You
Below the belt. Below the
said
belt.
last episode that we were having tantrums
Oh
when
my
nobody
goodness.
lost their cool. Was that below the belt? But that's an example of how we have to.
Y'all gonna let them keep going, right? Just keep. All right, that's what's up.
Yeah, they let you do it.
All right,
Hey,
that's what's up.
so I got a question for the group. I got a question. It's protecting your
You
peace
don't hold that
sometimes.
dude accountable for
Hey,
nothing.
all right, so I got a question.
You're
I got
just
a question for
delusional.
the
Now
panel.
I'm not.
Is
now we're
protecting?
jumping.
Hold up,
Now I'm
Boogie.
done being
Hold up, Boogie.
disciplined. No,
Hold up.
because everyone else was. So fuck it.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So right now, I got a question for everybody. Okay,
You is a
it's
piece of work.
protecting
I'm
your
telling
peace.
you.
I'm real though.
You need to rewatch this. No lie. Y'all need to rewatch it.
Okay.
Joy,
Yes, it is. Some people do. Chaos is familiar. People are raised in chaos. Some people are raised, much like Nay was talking about, that some people have been raised in either abusive environments or where people are yelling and screaming all the time, and then it becomes familiar.
Right.
And the conflict becomes the emotional unpredictability becomes familiar. And it's strange because we grow a development of like the lack of predictability is what feels normal. So it can, strangely enough, keep somebody who is familiar with that, almost it keeps them emotionally safe when it is crazy and chaotic, because they're like, this is the norm.
Yeah.
So when that's where that idea of like safety being boredom, because now it's like too safe and it's bored. I'm bored. That fear of abandonment, all that stuff is like, oh, that feels so good and exciting, but it's not really exciting. It's confusing. So subconsciously, yes, there are people who seek arguing and chaos and discomfort because that's what's normal for them. So it's kind of like that, how Nai was saying earlier, that as you grow and you develop in relationships, we have to grow a sense of awareness and understanding that, okay, maybe this is where I fall short in relationships, or maybe these are bad habits I developed somewhere else in relationships. What's a good relationship look like to me? What does love look like to me?
And just to piggyback on that, I do, and I know some women might not agree, but sometimes I do feel like some women are kind of just, they don't like to kind of take a step back and say, I should calm down. Like, I do feel like some women, they really get upset when it's like the finger is pointed at them sometimes. And I feel like I do see it more where women, are kind of saying like, well, I want him to change and da da da. But then, it's also like a thing where I have witnessed some women and they kind of just talk to their dude any kind of way, or just, like they don't realize that attitude and stuff is coming off. And it's like, you don't have to kind of be that way with me or talk that way to me. But I do feel like some women have a problem with kind of being a little self-aware, if that makes sense. Like they don't like being told like, look, you need to calm down, or you gotta, you're being selfish, or whatever the case may be.
That comes with the willingness to learn about yourself, and just being able to take constructive criticism. And I'll give y'all.
But I will say, just because men are nonchalant, y'all do sometimes just be doing shit and Just like how y'all may feel like us women, we don't think before we react. Sometimes I feel like, man, y'all don't think before y'all react either. Like y'all just be
You're
doing
right.
shit
I mean, we
sometimes,
all I
and
think
I be
everybody does
like,
that.
now you know
Everybody.
that was inappropriate, or you know that was disrespectful, or why would you even do that? And in some cases, I will say I do agree with when people like. Not all the time, but it's kind of like when you know your person or your partner and you know that's going to tick them off. Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, some stuff is stupid. Like some stuff is kind of like, all right, we too old to be talking about this. You need to grow up out of that shit. But it's one of those things where I do have a strong like notion towards yes. If you know me and you know what's going to piss me off, don't do that. Like,
Yeah,
it's that simple. If you don't
certain
want to
things,
hear my mouth, because I
certain
say it
things
all
you
the
shouldn't
time.
say to
I
your
know you don't want to
partner.
hear my mouth. I don't be wanting to hear my mouth half the damn time either. But
But
shit, we here.
certain things shouldn't be like
So
that comment
so
you
now
just
we both
said.
gonna hear our mouth because sometimes I don't be giving a damn. You gonna feel just like how I felt. God damn it, for 5 minutes, and then we could go and shower and we could go do what we do. We could cuddle and all that later on. But you gonna
I
hear my
think,
mouth.
That's
I think
toxic
not.
right
I
there.
think, yeah, I'm about to
I was
say, I
just
think not.
like that right there ain't gonna do it.
I
That's
think,
toxic.
I think nah, that even in the shower, you still gonna be talking. So nah,
Yeah, like some stuff you just
Yeah,
get you
be in
like.
the
going.
shower. I'm gonna be like, so by the way, I wanted
Yeah,
to ask
exactly.
you.
And they'll put that battery in your
Yeah,
back for
I'm
real.
just
You ain't
trying to
tripping.
look. I'm
some
trying to make
stuff
the
just
environment more calming and peaceful. A hot
some,
shower, you know,
but
like
some
just.
people say they want a calm, peaceful environment, and then they'll say things a certain way. Like and I'm just using what you just said as an example, not because you were
Mm-hmm,
just the one talking. Like how you said,
mm-hmm.
like, oh, I wish you would just grow up. Those type of comments, something that little can trigger somebody to be, now you disrespected me. Now you
Yep, they
feel some type of
explode.
way about me. Now
I
you
agree.
and that could go on in the back of your mind
Just like how I
forever.
feel like when guys, I don't like when men like say, "Oh, you're delusional or you're crazy." Like I don't think that's cool because
But what if
if
you are
you
delusional or crazy?
then why the hell you with me? If you felt like I needed to be in a straight jacket, I'm just saying here.
Because most
Can I
women are
call you
But
delusional
delusional if
or
I'm
crazy.
not
but
with you then?
but it's a thing where I feel like if I'm telling you how I feel about something, and you know what I'm saying, if anything, it's like how Boogie say sometimes. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you feel like I'm saying something that might sound
What
crazy to
about
you or
deluded?
whatever, give me a
Is that
or
saying the night?
delusional, say it to me in a way that you feel like I would understand. Like if anything, and I'm not saying yelling and stuff, but don't just automatic, man, you sound crazy. Cause it'll be like some woman says, and it's like, oh, you sound crazy. You sound delusional. You need to stop. And it's like, well, no, because what if half the shit I think you think saying to sound crazy and delusional, but I'm still trying to hear your side and your perspective and understand where you're coming from. I mean, some women
So,
aren't like that. They just want to
so
say
how do you
whatever.
say you sound crazy without saying you sound crazy? I just need to know where the line is on that. If
Okay,
you sound
so,
crazy, you sound crazy. I don't understand
but
how else you can say that.
yeah, but I feel like again, I know Bino, you top dog and you know your emotions are a little stiff and cemented. However, what I'm saying is I know Bino, you're not big on big furry bears and things like that and gummy worms and stuff. But what I'm just saying is, Bino, just a little soft. Like that's it. Like just when you
You sound crazy
And delusional.
and
So now I
delusional.
got a question. I got a question for you. Do you believe that there do you believe that there are categories or subjects that people openly, men and women, say, hey, I know I'm crazy on this, but I want you to go with my craziness. And they even acknowledge that they're being irrational, but they can't help themselves because maybe it's a subject like something to do with their child. It could be an adult
I
child that they're being
yes,
If I'm in a
I
relationship
do I
with that
do I
person, then
do
we
feel
got to
like
work on that.
I do
We got to do
I
some work on that.
I will say, Boogie, yes, I do feel like there's certain subjects and stuff that I feel like, you know, can be sensitive to others. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're all different people. Even when you're with somebody, you're still going to be your own person. So I just feel like at the end of the day,
Oh,
Go
at
ahead.
the
You
end
talk
of
about the man. Go
Look,
at the
I'm like,
end of
Pino, you
the day.
Well, I thought it was the calf.
ahead.
Yeah. Yo.
I feel like yes, I
no,
do
I'm
feel
ice
like it
packed up
is
right
certain
now. I'm good.
I do feel like it is certain subjects and stuff that could be deemed as, you know, oh, you sound crazy. But I will say, like for me, I could just give an example. and yes, this is just me. I do like reassurance and things like that. So before I even assume, because I do feel like that is one thing that's big on women as well, we assume a lot before we ask, and we just take something and run with it. Me personally, I'd rather just ask you, because then if you say something out of pocket or react crazy, then it's going to be like, all right, well, you taking this a little too far. Maybe we shouldn't even talk about it, or whatever the case may be. But I do feel like, in the same sense, it just depends on what you're talking about. And again, it's a thing of, some people just might need clarity more than others. Some people really just want to know, like, hey, are we still good, or whatever the case may be? I mean, it could be a change. And then that's where the guy can come back and say, well, why would you ask me that? Then that'll open up conversation of, well, the reason why I'm feeling like this is because X, Y, and Z. Blah,
See,
blah, blah.
the other part too is we're not only as men having these conversations with romantic interests, you're having these conversations with the opposite sex within your family, whether it be your mother, whether it be your sister, whether it be your daughter, your aunts. You're seeing these levels of delusion from all of these different demographics of women that you interact with, not just from women on your job that
Yeah.
you have to interface with.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get what you're saying, but I'm going to have a different tolerance level for the people I love.
Of course. Of course.
But if I don't love you and you are just you're a utility in some capacity at work or whatever to me, no.
Right.
I'm not gonna spare you on that, or I'm just gonna not interface.
And I also will say, I've had moments too where I've had to have quote unquote tough love where I've had quote unquote tough love moments where it is a thing where it's like, I've had people say, like, the reason why I'm saying this to you this way is because I actually do care. Because you do, you know what I'm saying? You do sound out of pocket. I wouldn't want you, especially if we are together, you my partner, we represented each other. I wouldn't want you going out in public talking like this or speaking like this, because I actually do give a damn. And I don't think, some people, I feel like, oh, was it like you trying to protect your image? I mean, well, in a sense, we all try to protect our image, whether it's high or low. But I do feel like, yeah, if we moving as a unit and we understand each other, we ain't about to be wilding out and doing all this in public, or we not about to be, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
But
with those
but
scenarios,
I do feel like, yes, to an extent, some people might take that tough love and they might take it personal, where it's like, if I really wasn't saying nothing to you to kind of correct this behavior, I really don't give a damn about you. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like an opposite sense. Like, I'm saying it because I care. Like how your parents will yell at you and all that, and you be like, Mom, why are you screaming at me? And they be like, because you're doing the wrong thing, and because I don't want to see you dead out in the street. I want you to make something of yourself and be successful and know how to talk to people and know how to be kind and all of that. Whereas a child might get it and be like, dang, okay, so the reason why my mom and dad is screaming at me is because they actually do give a fuck. Because you do have those sense of
You
people
ain't gotta
where they.
scream at me to tell me you care, but okay.
Well, I'm not. I'm
I
not
know what you're
saying.
saying.
We
Not
know what
saying
you're
it like
saying.
that,
Yeah.
but I'm
We know what
saying,
you're
in a
saying.
sense, it's like a tough love thing. Like,
No,
it's
I
like,
get it.
but so many times I'm gonna keep telling you this, and the reason why, like Boogie said, I'm being patient with you. I'm trying to get you to understand this. I really fuck with
I'm
you,
gonna
because when,
reiterate it over and
yeah,
over and over
like,
again
because
because I
I
think
know that you're a good person. I know you can be fun. I know you can. You know what I'm saying? Bring this good energy, but for some reason, whatever you got going on, it's not that right now. So we got to draw back. And
Boogie, if you
sometimes I
say
feel like people.
interface one more time, I'm gonna lose it. We all know you work
For
in the
real.
tech world, but if you
For
say
real.
interface again, I'm
Fucking
like,
interface. I was like, interface? What? I don't do no nasty
I
shit
can't
like
help
that.
it
I don't be
because
interfacing with motherfuckers.
I'm like,
look,
I'm
I
mixing
heard
up
him
Boogie a
and
freak.
I
yards.
let it go,
Yo, Boogie
and
a
then I
I'm
see
freak.
like,
Gino
yo,
saying,
yo,
I was like, what is
disconnect,
going
get
on?
a connection.
Boogie a freak ass nigga.
Turn
You
off
ain't
the
never seen
fucking
interface?
Wi-Fi.
Boy,
Yeah, I'm like,
I
turn
ain't never
the
seen that
connection off.
before.
I'm thinking network terms and shit, like interface with this shit or
Yo,
not.
he called people utilities.
Yes, yeah. I caught that one. I caught that one.
Motherfuckers, that's
Yeah.
what they are. They're a utility, a resource. You don't
Absolutely
really fuck
not.
with them because it has to do with your job. So you really don't.
Oh, oh. So that's
No, I
okay.
understand that though. I do. You gotta You gotta, I look, like I said it before on
But
here.
I ain't
Like I
interfacing
look at
Melody because
people
I
as
don't know like that.
And
level of
Melody, let me do
relationships.
that.
Level of relationships. And depending on where you are in those levels, depends on how much energy I need to give to fixing something or making it work a certain way. At work, it's very limited. At work, it's, I have to give a certain amount of energy to allow it to work the way it's supposed to work. And that's just for the purposes of getting the job done. I feel like Boogie, if we work together, you're going to get like this much. You're going to get some interaction and bags like our topic in terms of chaos, in terms of I'm not going to give you but so much. If you're that type and you have a toxic personality, we're not friends. We work together. So we don't even got to talk about this or that or whatever. We work together. If we're in a relationship, it's different because you got to give a certain level of energy to make sure shit works appropriately.
All right, I get it. I get it. All right. So, does anyone have anything else to say on this before we move to our final thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So, final thoughts it is. Who up first? Let's get it.
Go, Sunshine.
Man. You want
You
me to go?
started this crap.
I did start this shit, man.
You
I
started all of
apologize.
this. You
I
started
apologize.
everything. This is all your fault. You're banned for a month. You got 30 days to not pick a
No more
topic.
topics for you, buddy.
Amanda or Bino, y'all pick next.
I don't think y'all want me to
Actually,
pick
Bino, no.
Hold
We
on,
don't
Amanda,
know.
pick.
Bino not picking nothing either.
I don't think you haven't picked yet, right, Amanda?
Amanda ain't pick. Amanda, you gotta pick next time. Cause Sun, we can't be having
I
him
think it
doing
was
it.
great. I think it just kind of went left a
Well,
little
go
bit.
ahead. Well, go ahead. Give your
Mhm.
final thought.
All right, let me give my final thought real quick.
There you go,
Oh
man.
Lord.
It is the man's responsibility to keep his emotional maturity. He is the one that's supposed to walk away. And if a woman yells at you, jumps in your face, I mean that could be something that's a rarity, a one-off. But as a regular thing, you just gotta dump her. Just gotta. People will be too scared to break up. I think that's what a lot of problems is. A
They
lot of
don't
the
want to be
time,
alone.
it's like when it ain't working, it ain't working. You ain't gonna make something work by staying longer. So I'm gonna jump
Mhm.
off. Oh my God, we just scored a fourth goal in the first half. It's time for the Arsenal.
Is that a scarf around your neck?
Yes, that's a scarf. All
Oh my
right.
God.
Let's.
Bye, Bino.
All right.
Peace.
All right. Who up next? Final thoughts.
I'll go. So I feel like, yes, I do feel like there is a balance. I do definitely feel like women are kind of, to a sense, I can't really say even more emotional, but yes, I do feel like the men have a strong barrier to hold the emotional intelligence together. However, I do feel like women need to also hold themselves to that standard too. Kind of sometimes just take a step back, reassess the situation, try to see it from a different perspective. I mean, and again, I feel like that really on both parties. Everybody needs to kind of just be on the same page and try to have an understanding and communication. And then also just being open and receptive. Like I feel like some people don't want to take in what others are saying. Again, they take it personal, but sometimes it's a thing where it's like, no, if I see something, I'm gonna say something, and if I see something that could make you better, especially when it comes to the emotional intelligence, so you don't react out of emotion and end up in jail or dead, then hey, it works for the both of everybody.
I get it. I get it. Who up next, boss?
I think a lot of what we said today sounds good in theory, but I think we just need to be mindful, both of us. Um, as we need to give the same amount of energy to our delivery as we do to the actual issue that we have.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think we need to practice on doing that. You know what I mean? As opposed to just blowing up into a conversation or blowing up into an argument. I think in the back of your mind, you need to really be thinking about your delivery. And
Facts.
that's pretty much it, man.
I agree with that.
Well, it was an interesting topic, son. And
Y'all welcome.
in general, it's gonna vary for every relationship you're in, whether it's romantic or family or whatever it is. Men, I think Amanda said it earlier, like, if a little girl throws a tantrum and is crying, or somebody said it where it was like, you're more likely to be like, oh, and a boy is told earlier to regulate his emotions. I'm all right with that because there's a reason why we need men to regulate their emotions more. And that's the undercurrent thing of like, you don't want a society of emotional men that are going to just act out physically, violently, or what have you. You know what I'm saying? Like, as being someone who I know dealt with the military, but two people up here, y'all are trained to, there's got to be a component to y'all training. I've never been in the military, but it's got to be a component that says control your fucking emotions.
Right. Yeah.
Life or fucking death. And you got to think, motherfucker. So that's just the burden of that. It was because we're the provider and the protector. And if the shit fell apart tomorrow, we got to go get the fucking meat. We got to secure the goddamn place for you to stay. And we got to make sure the fire can burn. It's just what the fuck it is. And I'm cool with that because we have the propensity to draw more violence upon the earth as men than women. That's it.
Okay. What you got, Amanda?
I think that communication and relationship is paramount. Learning someone, learning their expectations, learning everything about how they experience the world, how they've come to their conclusions, what they expect in a relationship. When you understand one another, conflict is more manageable rather than being destructive. And when we understand what somebody comes from, we know what to expect. We know if their even just by watching, we know if the expectation is like, if they were yelled at when they were a child, yelling probably feels familiar. It's much more back to like what someone was saying in the beginning was like, it's not that you should look at somebody and say it's excusable, but it's more manageable when you understand. And if you can de-escalate somebody by saying like, I get it, I understand what you were raising, I understand that that was your norm, that's not our norm, that's not my norm, that's not what I want our relationship to be. Most likely you can reel the woman in when you express care and love and compassion and still say like, that's not what I want the temperature of our relationship to be, because she is more likely to tap into a more emotional perspective and say like, oh, okay. But when you jump in with criticism and yelling and trying to demand something, you're just going to get pushback.
Facts.
So how you interact and communicate and understand one another is going to be paramount always in how things get resolved or managed in a relationship, or just walk away.
Or pushback or no response at all.
They all
Like you
determine the
said.
outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So what you put in as much energy or effort as you want to get out of it. If you're willing to put in some time and effort and compassion and care, then you might get a better response and outcome.
I agree with that.
But toxicity, then is what you're gonna get back
Yeah,
to.
if you pour in some nonsense, guess what?
Listen, I'm just gonna follow with this because she said everything else. Self-respect isn't cold, peace isn't boring, and chaos isn't love. Okay? So if you want somebody good, then you gotta be good yourself. All right? That's it. That's all we got today.
Wait, I
Appreciate
did
y'all
have a
for joining.
question. Hold on. I just wanted to say, I'm just being funny. You can cut this out later on. But before
That
you,
means you could have waited until me close it
Yeah.
out. You could have asked your damn question.
oh shit, sorry.
You should
Keep
you
that,
should leave
y'all.
that for
Hey,
bloopers.
hey. So, like I said, that's all we got. Appreciate y'all for joining in. We love y'all out there. See you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.
Peace.